Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. Thanks so much for making the time. I am Ilham Ilyas from 5 Minutes AI. I work on the commercial and partnership side, and I have my lovely colleague here. Over to you, James.
Thanks for the introduction. I look after marketing here at 5Mins. Unlike Ilham, who's been in HR for like a much longer time and knows the industry kind of inside and out, I'm kind of fairly new to it. But kind of where I'm hoping I can help out a bit today is on the AI side. So this is the third company I've worked for, which is AI first, and we use it absolutely everywhere at 5Mins, both within our product and in terms of how we work as a team. So hopefully I can help out on that side today.
Yes, James is our in-house AI wizard. He's created a team of agents to help him across marketing. So really excited to learn from you today, James. We'll just give maybe just 10 more seconds for more people to join. But in the meantime, if you're here, please use the chat bot to tell us where you're dialing in from. It would be super interesting to understand. So I'll go first. I'm dialing in from London.
Okay, and I'm calling in from Surrey.
Fab. So let us know in the chat. Great. So I think let's just kick it off. What do you think, James?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, let's get started.
Okay, perfect. So I have a little disclosure. First of all, I've never seen Groundhog Day, and this is a Groundhog Day themed webinar, not even once. So James will be our person for all the film references today, and I'm completely relying on him to make all the puns. But what I do know is in the film, from the summary that I've read, Bill Murray plays a man who wakes up to the exact same day every single day, over and over again, in a trapped loop he cannot escape. And when I read that, I thought, yep, sounds about right. This is kind of like a HR day, right, on a Monday morning. So I don't feel like I need to watch the film to relate to that one, which is great. But so this is us, and we are going to share our knowledge today. So I work across our clients in 80 plus countries with 5 Minutes AI. Who are 5 Minutes AI? So quick introduction there. 5 Minutes is an AI-powered micro-learning platform. So think TikTok-style, bite-sized lessons for compliance training, AI training, leadership development, whatever your needs are. We work with organizations in 80 plus countries across the globe, from financial services, hospitality, legal. And what makes us different is that we actually get people to complete the training. So we see 95 plus percent completion rate versus the industry average of less than 5 minutes. Less than 5%. And the reason why is our philosophy, which is 5 minutes actually fits into a working day. So for today, let's get into it. Here's what we are covering. So this is what we're covering today. We'll start with a quick look at the AI landscape. So the tools that we'll be referencing throughout. Then we'll name the Groundhog Day problem. So what exactly is it? So the loop most HR teams are stuck in right now. How can you escape it? How can you make it easier by using AI in different tasks? So 7 practical ways to break it. And then I'll show you the 5 Minutes platform at the end as well. So also, disclaimer again, this webinar is part of our AI Declassified series. So this series, the whole premise of it is cutting through the noise and actually showing you what AI actually does. So rather than having, a vague strategy, bit of fluff, we're actually going to show you a demo today as well. So James is actually going to show us a live demo of how he's going to use one of the tools to build a beautiful dashboard. So stay tuned for that. And this is episode 1, and we'll be running more of these. So if you find today useful, keep an eye out for the next one in the series. And they're all film themed, right, James? Which other?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we've got kind of all sorts of different themes. Many of you might not know the movie Groundhog Day, as I think it came out in 1993, so it's been out for a long time now. We've got like Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, The Terminator, so lots of different films. Although Ilham actually surprised me the other day and said that she hasn't watched one of those films, which, especially Harry Potter, I can't get my head around, to be honest. But maybe you can watch that one before we go live with the next episode.
Yeah, if it was bite-sized, maybe I'd have 95% completion rate, like 5 minutes. But unfortunately, those moves are really long, and I feel like I don't have the attention span there. Anyways, let's get into it. So, first up, let's start with the poll. So, James, would you be able to, strike the poll? How are you currently using AI in your role?
Yeah,
So
so if everyone on the right panel there, there's a small little graph. I think a few of you have discovered it already, and you should be able to open that out. So if you're trying to click on the screen, that won't work. You've got to find the little panel separate to that. We're just looking at the questions here on the screen. So yeah, we've got a few coming in, and I think, Ilham, if you want to go to the next slide, we'll just give people a couple of minutes just to get their answers in there before we reveal the results.
yeah, and in the true spirit of 5 minutes, so we love gamification, we love polls and quizzes on our platform, so why not here in our webinar today? You can win a £20 Amazon voucher gifted by us by being one of the first 10 people to share the webinar on LinkedIn. So what I mean by that is write a quick post about us, tag 5 Minutes AI. You can share what you've learned today. If you are one of the first 10 people to post about our webinar today, you will receive an Amazon voucher from us as a little thank you. So yeah, I'll leave this on, guys. Looking forward to your LinkedIn posts. Now let's get into the webinar. So do we have the poll results?
Yes, I can share the results with everyone now. So hopefully that's showing for you. So we've got 40% saying occasionally, so playing around with AI. We've got 21% who are using it weekly, but for specific tasks, and about 35% that are using it every day. So that's brilliant. Some of the numbers changing there, more coming in for occasionally playing around. No one's at not at all, which is great. I think actually way more advanced as an audience than we've had for a couple of these. And I would say with this is actually, if you're watching this webinar today, you're part of that group within HR and compliance that are actually very interested in HR. So I'd say actually you're probably already at the head of the curve just by being here today, watching this during your lunch break. So yeah, we'll kind of say, yeah, you're definitely ahead already.
Amazing. So let's get into it. First up, the AI landscape. What's out there in the world of AI? So before we get into the use cases, I just want to spend a couple of minutes here explaining the tools that we will be talking about today, because, as we saw, people are at very different stages, and I want to give you a quick overview. So in tier 1, the foundational AI tools. So this is the ones that you probably hear about the most: ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude, and Gemini. So these are your large language models. These are the conversational AI tools that most people start with, hear about, and search with to begin with. So ChatGPT is probably the one you've encountered first and foremost. This is built by OpenAI. It's the most widely used, has a massive community around it. So it's great and excellent for general use, and has a ton of community behind it. So if you're ever stuck, there's thousands of people online who have already solved the problem, and chats online that you can search from. Next up, Copilot. So this is Microsoft's AI. And if your organization runs on Microsoft 365, most do, you may already have access to it. So integrates directly with Word, Excel, Teams, Outlook. So it's worth checking with your IT team if you can have access to this one. We've also ran AI training programs just around Microsoft Copilot for organizations who have recently introduced Copilot into the mix. So we teach them the best ways to use it, how to secure data, what to do, what not to do. So if that's something that you're on the lookout for, AI training around Copilot for the rest of your org, please do get in touch. And then Claude is most probably my favorite. So especially for HR work, the reason why it's exceptionally really good at following nuanced, detailed instructions. And HR work, of course, requires a lot of nuance. So it handles sensitive comms well, balanced feedback, and Claude handles all of that really, really well. So it's also a tool we use most internally at 5 Minutes, and we'll show you again. James will show you an example of what he's built, the dashboards that he's built there. And then Gemini, Google's version, it's great if you're on Google Workspace, integrates with Sheets, Docs, Slides. You can be on a sheet and ask it hey, can you give me this formula? So you don't have to go on a YouTube tutorial anymore, which is really handy. But yeah, my honest advice is pick one and get really good at it, because it can be overwhelming navigating them all at once. So think of it like learning to drive. You learn one car first. You don't really try 4 or 5 different cars at once and then wonder why, you keep stalling. So maybe master your LLM. So choose one, get great at it, give it context, learn with it, and then tap into the others to cross-check. And that's also a point that we'll get into later. And then tier 2, we've got some specialist tools. So Manus is an agentic AI. Meta recently acquired Manus, and it can take complex tasks and run with it across multiple steps. And it's like having an assistant. And again, James will show you how Manus works. And there's quite a few others. Please do take a screenshot, explore, and let us know what you think. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. So,
Ilham, just very quickly, I think I've just got a message saying that people can't see your face at the moment. So I'm just going to try and move you in very, very quickly, just so people can see you. There you go. Yeah, perfect.
Perfect. So here I am. Thank you, Summer, for letting us know. Amazing. Let's get into the webinar. So use case 1, building a personalized 30, 60, 90-day strategic roadmap. So how long does it actually take you to build a proper strategic plan currently if you weren't to do it with AI? So most people that I've spoke with usually say, a week, 10 hours, 15 hours, because of course there's researching involved, benchmarking, reading articles, trying to figure out what's actually relevant for the specific organization you have as well. So, generic advice isn't totally applicable. So that's before you've done any actual pen to paper and actually wrote the plan. You need to do all these steps before it. So AI collapses all those things into minutes so the output is richer, because then you have, AI has access to research. So Gemini, for example, plugs into Google in real time and it can give you articles of what's happened. You can even be cheeky and ask, hey, what are competitors in my space doing for this plan? What are they teaching their newbies, etc.? And maybe you can get data that way as well. So first step, provide context. Don't just say, hey, write me a 30, 60, 90-day plan. Tell it your company size. Give it more context, the richer the output will be. And the more specific you are, the better. Step 2, ask it to prioritize. So ask it to separate out the quick wins, so things you can act on this week versus longer term strategic moves. And having those things separated in front of you is really useful, so you can have the action plan as well as the strategic plan. You can even ask it to color code it, prioritize it for you, and have an output in that way. And then step 3, this is a tip that I love most and I've started doing a lot recently, is instead of telling AI what to do, I ask it to interview me first. So say things like, before you generate anything, please ask me 5 questions about my situation. And then it can actually surface, blind spots, things you hadn't thought of, things you'd have left out in the original brief. And the output is always much richer when you ask AI to interview you. And then use it as a living document. So check in weekly, adjust it. And another expert tip from the slide is voice to text. So speaking averages 150 words per minute versus 40 to 60 when you're typing. So if you're prompting AI with your voice instead of typing, you're actually giving it richer context faster. So you're writing the prompts faster. And James actually loves to do this in the office. The first time he did this, I thought he was speaking to himself, which I thought he was like on the descent of madness. But then I realized actually he's prompting AI and speaking to AI so he can get the prompt down faster. So think about it. You speak faster than you type, unless you're like a crazy whiz at typing. So that also saves you tons of time as well. And then expert tip 2. Yep.
Just very quickly, I think we've actually gone a couple of slides ahead. So I'm just going to do a very quick intro just to that, if that's okay. And then we'll go back to the use cases in a second.
Yep.
That'd be great, thanks. So Ilham's already kind of started with some of the use cases, which we'll run through today. But just kind of quickly frame the problem of what we're looking to try and do with the session. So as you mentioned right at the very start, this is called the Groundhog Day problem. So taken from the film Groundhog Day, where Bill Murray's character Phil wakes up and then he's repeating the same day over and over again, trapped in a time loop. So he has the same alarm clock going off announcing that today again is Groundhog Day. He steps in the same icy puddle on his way to reporting, and he tries everything to try and get out of this. So this is very kind of similar to what we hear from HR and compliance teams. So every Monday feels the same. They're doing the same emails, the same reporting, the same chasing for compliance training, same policy questions, even though they've sent out docs before with all of this info. And they're kind of desperate to get out of this kind of trap of spending time on admin, where at the moment people are spending 57% of their time on admin, 50% are manual tasks. So what we're looking to do is show you how you can finally kind of break free from that time loop. So in the movie, Phil tries everything to try and get out of this time loop. So he tries repeating back the same day at exactly how he did before. He tries absolutely everything, I think, including at one stage he takes a bath with a plugged-in toaster to try and escape the time loop. And the only way that he finally gets out of this, he makes a change to be a better version of himself, a kind of much more like understanding person than he kind of was at the start of the film. So what we're hoping today is that you can take that same approach that he did, maybe the toaster aside, and break free of that time loop by using AI to help kind of free you of that time loop trap that we find people in at the moment.
Okay, James, I might actually watch the movie. So
It's a great movie, yeah, definitely would recommend. So what we're hoping kind of to learn today, so the first one that Ilm's really kind of started covering, which we'll jump back to in just a second, is how you can break that cycle with that personalized 90-day strategic roadmap that you can create using AI. We'll cover some how you can automate recruitment, meeting notes, compliance training, everything within your role. We'll show how AI can help handle those repetitive tasks, everything from policies to reporting. And then finally, how you can escape for good. And what we're hoping we can do is we can save you 280 hours in the next 90 days. So this honestly might seem like a huge amount of time saving, but it's something that we're doing like as a team across 5mins every single day by using AI. So really hoping we can get you to that point at the end of the webinar.
fab. Shall we jump into use case 2?
Yeah, perfect. Sounds good.
Great. So we've been through, asking AI to write strategies and plans. Next up is learning and development and how you can save 2.5 hours per week. So the pain really here is curating, relevant content for every role manually, which is quite an impossible task. Spoiler, we've actually made this possible on 5 Minutes AI. We've got an AI bot trained to do that for the different roles in your organization. But if you're starting from scratch, then programs, of course, can take weeks to build, and sometimes by the time it's launched, it's outdated. So it's kind of like cooking a meal where you're taking 2 or 3 hours to prep everything, and then it takes 5 minutes to eat. So the same here, the effort and is totally, completely disproportionate to the outcome at times. So the solution really is, again, using AI to research before you build. So we mentioned tools like Gemini, Perplexity, to identify what skill gaps are trending. So for example, for first-time managers, they can do that research for you. They can browse the web in real time and synthesize the answers for a training and learning program. Then you can also use AI to write comms as well. So what I mean by that is emails, imagery. Sometimes that's really hard to create in seconds. We ran a leadership development program for one of the largest printing companies, let's say, in the world. If you've got a laptop, you probably have the logo right now on your screen as well. But essentially what they did was to really push out the communication and sell the learning program across the board to their very busy people was using AI to create sequences. So what I mean by that is it was a full campaign, it was comic book themed, superhero imagery, how to become a super AI powered product manager. They had that plastered everywhere, under 30 minutes, and then they just scheduled those emails, and it led to very high completion rates. So you can use AI to curate for you, and then AI to write the comms for you as well in a very creative way. So not just the copy, but also the imagery as well. And the next tip at the bottom is upload your existing documents, SOPs, and slide decks to what we have developed as well, part of our product, is 5 Minutes AI Studio. So you can actually convert any of your existing documents into video lessons and podcasts automatically using our platform as well. So again, we've got the role-based skills matrices off the shelf, and then we've got the content to complement it, and then you can go ahead and add your own content to the platform and have it into video lessons. So yeah, that's learning and development in a nutshell, and how you can make it faster, quicker, especially around the comms and the curation. Next up, James, is this one of yours?
Yeah, it's one of mine. So I think kind of what we wanted to do today is try not to make it so like high level. We want to show you like practical examples of exactly what you can do. So we thought that quite a good example of this would be putting together a employee sentiment analysis. So one of the things that HR teams often do is they collect employee surveys, spend a lot of time putting this together, and they'll have all sorts of data available for this. But the manual work to put together, do all the analysis, put everything together, it just takes so much time. So we wanted to try and come up with a kind of practical way that you can use AI for this. So this is something I put together just this morning. It happened kind of within a few prompts. So I fed my son breakfast, changed his nappy, had a shower, and I would just keep on coming back to my screen, typing in a single prompt and letting it run. So it took me kind of a few minutes kind of compared to what it would do previously. So what I want to do is I'll just share my screen and I'll just show you an example for how you can do this in practice. Just before I do, so we wanted to use an example. So this is another TV movie reference. So for those of you that are familiar with The Office, we decided to use Dunder Mifflin as the example for this one, just so you can kind of understand the company. And it's one that will be well known by many of you. So I'll just share my screen and we can take you over to Claude to show you what we're doing there. So Ilham, if you could just let me know once that's showing and I'll get started.
And we're seeing your chat on the side as well. Maybe you want to make this full screen?
Yeah, perfect. Sounds good. How's that?
Yeah, if you just press on the left chat.
It's there. Yeah, perfect. Great. So what we wanted to do is, first of all, we needed to get some data together to start this all off. And this is the same as kind of the data you have already. So I wanted to show an example of feeding this in. So what I've asked Claude to do in this example is just to create some dummy data for me. So it's given me an example survey that you might share across your team. It's created an employee directory with the names of all the characters from The Office. And it's even given me like specific responses for those. So I'll just show you some of those now, as I thought the output, honestly, from Claude was pretty brilliant on this. So I'll go to my Dunder Mifflin folder here. So you can see we've got the directory. So the directory, once that loads, includes all the characters in there that we want to have. So I think what's important to note with this is if you're uploading anything into any AI platform, is you want to have anonymized data. So you can ask AI to remove it for you, but maybe a better step for that would be to remove some of these like personal identifying information. So for example, your name, probably job title if there's only a few people in the company, and definitely anything like address. So we could kind of strip that information out and just use an employee ID for this. So next up, we put together the survey to feed in. So the survey is an example for Dunder Mifflin Limitless Paper in a Paperless World. And it's got all the different answers from Toby, who's the head of HR at Dunder Mifflin, for everyone to complete. And what was even kind of better with Claude here is it gave me example survey responses. So it came through and it gave me 145 pages of answers that look pretty real. It's even in the tone of voice of each of these different characters. So we try to make it as realistic as possible for our example today.
Perfect. So James, Claude actually generated the survey. Toby can actually ping out to employees. So Toby didn't have to write the survey, right?
Yeah, 100%. So that's something that you can kind of save time on, where you'd previously have to research best examples. You can just simply say to Claude, research best examples, and it will give you a perfect survey that's ready to go, even in your own branding.
Perfect. Okay, so no work for Toby on that side then.
Yeah, saves a lot of time. So next, what we did, if I just go to the very top here, so we fed in all the information of the 3 documents that we've shown, and then we used a different a framework that I typically use for prompting. So it's quite a basic one, but it works really well. So first of all, you say the role. So you say acting as an HR leader with 20 years of experience in the station industry. Then you give some context. So you say, this is a bit about our company. Here are the documents that I've attached. Next up is task. So you say, we've recently launched an employee engagement survey. Your task is to create a high quality analysis that can be shared with the board. And as the output, we want that as a Word document report, and we want that as an Excel document with a full analysis and graphs. I've got a few different notes here. So we said about researching best practice examples for it to do. But the most important part, and this is something we use as a team here, is before getting started on the task, get AI to ask you questions. So you're the expert here. You've got years of experience. You understand your companies inside and out. So get AI to ask you questions. I obviously don't have any HR experience. I kept the questions nice and short here. So I gave it some information about what the report should like, what data should be fed in, with quick responses here. I think the more detailed information you can give your AI platform, the better. So the comment there.
You can change the focus mode to fill so we can view the screen larger.
Perfect. Let's give that a go. Thank you, Si. Ellen, would you mind trying to do that just on your view, and I'll just keep going with the presentation quickly.
Yeah, it's on fill at the moment.
Great. So I'll just go through it. So Claude ran for quite a while. It's kind of quite a detailed prompt that I put in, and then it gave me two different documents here, which I can show you. So first of all, it gave us the full sentiment analysis. So this document included all of that data, put it into graphs, summarized it all, has tabs, it's all in the branding. So absolutely everything, which would have previously taken probably weeks to put together, kind of pre-AI. So it will really help to speed all of this up.
So it's taken one format and turned it into an Excel sheet. Is that correct, James? So
yeah, exactly.
Claude,
yeah.
Okay, amazing. So Claude can take one format and turn it into Excel sheets for you that are easily downloadable, and then I can go ahead and pass these insights to SLT. Is that correct, James?
Yeah, completely. And it can do any format at all, kind of like PowerPoint, even HTML, which I'll show you a bit later. So you can kind of put it together in any format that you like at all. So then we created a board report as part of this. So again, this might be a document you want to share. And it's got lots of different information. It's perfectly structured. The content is actually really good. Like, it's a high quality from the kind of quick scan through I had.
So if we look here, James, again, so Claude has helped you. If you just go a bit above.
Yeah, of course.
Actually visualize the data as well into pie charts, into graphs that can easily be understood. So you're not handing qualitative data, you're actually handing out something that looks beautiful, that's easy to read, and looks like you spent a lot of time on, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it can summarize it in any format. So we've got like a really long document here, but your team might just want the highlights. And again, Claude can do that. So you can specify exactly what you want in whatever format you want.
Perfect.
And for those of you that aren't using Claude, so I know that lots of people have like Copilot licenses or GPT, but really you can use any AI platform. So if you haven't got Claude, don't let this put you off. You can use really any AI tool that you choose.
Fab. So just one thread and 4 different formats, basically. So we've got a board deck, we've got a board report, and then we've got the original survey to work with as well, just from one thread that James has worked on. Brilliant. So I hope this shows you, the actionable ways that you can use these tools, because again, we want you to focus on, of course, the strategy, but also walk away knowing exactly which tools to use for what and gather inspiration here as well. James, anything else to add here?
Yeah, so next up we thought, well, how can we share this in a better format? Because your board might not want to go through and read 40 pages of analysis. I think it's interesting for HR leaders or compliance teams that put this stuff together, but often the board just want the highlights. So I thought, well, how can we make this easy to digest? So I thought what we could do next is create a dashboard using Claude. So I fed in all of the data and the documents that we've just put together, and then followed a very similar prompt to before. And the only thing that's different here is I've asked for a interactive HTML dashboard in the Dunder Mifflin brand colors for it to create. So we went back and forth. It asked some more questions about how this should look and how it should operate. And then I even asked Claude, how would you improve it? It came back with recommendations. Some of them I liked, some of them I didn't, and we made those changes. And then it gave me all of these HTML modules. So this is something that you will previously need a developer to put together, but I have no coding experience whatsoever. And just within a few prompts, I was able to put that together. And then I've actually just added this to our website to make it easier for you to all view today. So you can see here we have got a password protected, which again, you might want to do, especially if it's got like sensitive information. So I think the password is I love Scranton, which is the name of the town in the office. I'm going to regret putting a password on in a second if this doesn't work.
Is it I love Scranton 1? But that's very interesting because James, again, he's not an engineer, he's not a coder. He's made a full website page with this analysis and also protected with a password. And from what I understood from James's prompt. It only took about 2 or 3 prompts to achieve this as well. So again, so much faster.
Yeah, 100%. And if you kind of think we've kind of skipped over everything quickly, don't worry. We're going to send out the recordings. We're going to send out the slides and links to all of this. So we'll make it really easy for you to go ahead and do this yourself following the call with whatever task you choose to do, even if it isn't this specific project. So what Claude's put together for us is a dashboard that's ready to go to share the leadership. So it's got kind of key KPIs, nice summaries here. We've got scorecards, NPS scores, analysis for specific departments, everything you need. And we've even added this button which says, show me the most important findings, which again, your leadership team is going to want to see. And then it's loaded this up here. It's got steps helping to explain it. So this was really easy to do. I think if I spent a bit more time on it, it would look a bit better, but you can see how easy this is to put together, even if you have no technical experience like I do in this scenario.
No, James, we're seriously impressed, I think. If you guys have any questions about this, about Claude, do pop it into the chat. But it's great to see James has turned static replies into a dynamic dashboard that's actually a web page. So go, James. Now, next use case, again, to save you lots and lots of time, is recruitment and job descriptions. So this is something that can save you roughly 4 hours per week. And the pain really here is writing job descriptions repeatedly, 5th time this month, maybe inconsistent language across the roles as well. And then sometimes, unconscious bias can also sneak in if you are the one writing it. It's just human nature, I guess. And then, of course, the problem after is screening the 200 CVs you've now received because your job description was so awesome. So it's like, manually sorting through 200 CVs with a highlighter. You can actually have AI do it in seconds instead. So here's the solution. So if you give AI a short brief, it can draft role-specific JDs with inclusive language built in. You can even feed it examples of what you've done before and give it that context, and then ask it to run, audits on the copy before you post it. So here you have the assistant writing it for you, understanding your brief, understanding what you've done before, and then it can also pair it with the CVs that you upload after. So it can also do the CV screening for you. So AI can surface the strongest candidates, and then you have your human judgment involved to make the final call. So always human judgment at the end, always human in the loop approach. Next up is use case 5, which is around meeting automation. So let's get onto the next slide. So this
just to the skills. So for some kind of HR teams, you're going to be producing a lot of job descriptions, especially if you're going through a period of growth. So what we'd recommend with this is creating an AI skill or a custom GPT. So it depends on the AI platform of what they call this, but it's available in most of them. So what you can do is feed in the example of the one you've just created or a best practice example, and then ask AI, how can I create this as a skill? It might need to ask a few questions to you about kind of what you're looking for, what the type of role is, etc. And then it can produce a perfect job description every time. So where it might have previously taken you an hour to research it, look at best practice examples, maybe half an hour for each one if you're doing lots of them, it's just taking a couple of minutes and AI is doing all the heavy lifting for you. So we definitely recommend doing that.
Yeah. And then skills in terms of what that is and how that works. So skills are basically, information you can upload to AI's memory. So that way in the future, if you've ever found, hey, I've started a new thread and, Gemini, Claude, Copilot have totally forgotten what I've told it previously, that problem is circumvented because you basically store and have like a compartment in its AI brain about job descriptions, about a task that you do repeatedly. So it's about making, mastering your LLM, making it and stamping in its memory anything that you do repeatedly. So then when you come back to Claude on a new thread, it remembers exactly how you like certain things and exact context as well. So that again reduces hours as well because you're not relearning and reteaching AI on each thread that you start. Fab. So meeting automations, this is my personal favorite because I honestly think it saves me more than 4 hours per week. So this is the pain, right? So 30 to let's say 50% of your week is in meetings. You're human facing, you're facing humans every single day. There's things to talk about. So there are 2 time costs there, right? So the meeting itself And then the hours spent afterwards writing up the notes, chasing action items, trying to remember as well the action items. That's something I struggle with for sure. And while you're writing notes, you're not fully present in the conversation, right? You're not actively listening because you're thinking about what to write. So the solution here, and I'm sure a lot of you guys must use this as well, or if not, then we can tell you recommendations here. Tools like Otter AI, Fireflies can actually join your calls automatically and then deliver a structured summary to your inbox after. So that's also super useful. So think of it like, think of those tools like a personal assistant that is sat with you in the calls, writing the summary, writing the minutes. They've taken the perfect notes ever and delivered you a clean summary on your desk before you've even walked back to your chair, basically. So that's exactly what the tools do for us here at 5 Minutes. And again, sometimes, the personal assistant, it never complains, I guess. It never calls in sick. I guess as well. It's always there, always present. You can let it in into your calls. But here's the most important tip that people actually miss is you don't need to, use Fireflies or those paid tools. Inside Google Meets, if you use Google Workspace or Teams, Microsoft Teams, you have a free built-in transcription. So you don't need a separate paid tool. Just press record, paste the transcript into Claude, and then ask for a structured summary. So that should save you tons of hours across all the meetings that you have, and then deliver summaries as well. So think of it like a personal assistant that sits with you in all your calls, allowing you headspace on the bigger picture. Great. And then next up is performance review writing. So over to you, James, for this one.
Yeah, so just I skipped one there. I think we both pressed it at the same time. So for the policy and compliance assistant, so this is very similar really to the example that we just showed. So I think as long as you pass in information, providing the kind of full contents to it, you can create this kind of as a repeatable skill. So what we'd recommend for this is you make it really explicit in your instructions to the AI platform, is that the answer should only be based on this document. So otherwise it could start pulling in irrelevant information that isn't applicable to your company. Whereas if you ask it to be trained just on that data, you've got that perfect policy and compliance assistant ready to go. So this is really useful for HR and compliance teams that spend hours answering the same questions. So what's the maternity policy? How do I book my leave? What's our expense limit? All that information that you've definitely provided before. So if you create a kind of AI assistant that's ready to go on this, you can simply share it with their teams. They can ask that information to AI instead of to you. And it frees up so much time of your week. So we're estimating we'll save you around 2.5 hours per week during that next 90 days.
Absolutely. And we've actually built this inside 5 Minutes. So it's called Hugo AI. So this is an AI chatbot inside our platform, and you can select what it can be trained on. So it can only be trained on certain policies you've uploaded, only be trained on certain lessons on 5 Minutes, for example. And if someone asks about it, something outside its knowledge base, it just simply says no. So we've got a GDPR Hugo AI chatbot. It's trained on all our data privacy policies. When I ask it about dinosaurs, it tells me I have no clue. So that's also something that we have built into the platform to, again, allow you to free up time and push people to use learning platforms such as 5 Minutes to answer their policy questions as well. So that's a great use case. And then in terms of performance review writing, so this is quite an interesting one, right? So, the pain really is managers sometimes dread writing performance reviews. When they do write performance and feedback reviews, it can be quite vague. Sometimes it can be biased towards recent events that have happened and can be quite inconsistent across the team. So asking a manager to write a great performance review sometimes is telling someone to give a wedding speech in 5 minutes. Sometimes it's not the greatest quality, right? So with AI, they've got the full script and then they just add the personal touches. So what I mean by that is you can ask managers to, write in bullet points, achievements, areas of growth. You can give it a structure to follow using an AI sort of performance review manager. Paste them in with a prompt hey, act as a performance management coach, use these notes that the manager has provided to give me a balanced professional review. So you're asking managers for little time to give you the context, and then you're using AI to analyze it and build out the bigger, more professional and balanced picture. So it can even then go ahead and be more specific based on what the managers have given to, include development goals, plans, actions, etc., which James showed earlier. And then what comes back is, more structured, more specific performance reviews that you can work with. So the manager is adding the personal touches and the context, and then the review time, and also it gives, the template as well to managers. And then the review time drops from hours of, blank page anxiety to 15 minutes of refinement, which you're doing with AI tools. So that's, again, another way to think about using AI into your day-to-day.
Great. And before we kind of go through showing how we can save you some time and how you can get those 280 hours back, Louise actually asked a really important question. So it was referring to the one of the previous use cases that we went through, but she said, in the example of comparing CVs, is this a closed environment where the candidate data isn't exposed to the wider world / other people using AI? And this is really, really important, Louise. So you're spot on, especially with an HR role. It contains that very sensitive information, particularly around like performance reviews would be like a great example of data that you don't want to share with anyone. So I think it's really important that you have a account that's specific to your HR or your compliance function. And Ilham, I won't put you on the spot with it just now, but maybe at the end, if you could show everyone how you can change that setting within ChatGPT, and this shows how you can lock it down. So what's really important too is you want to make sure it's safe within your own organization, but you don't want to be training these AI models off of your own sensitive company data, especially if competitors could get hold of it, kind of by asking the right questions for it. So we want to kind of make sure you can find a safe way to lock that down. So it's really, really important to do this. And I would recommend speaking to your IT team if you're looking to adopt AI for the first time, and just find ways to lock it down and make sure that you're doing it in a really safe way.
Yeah. So, Louise, let's say, for example, your company uses Copilot, that would be adjusted by the IT team. If it's deployed across the org by the IT team to make sure that it's in a closed environment. And then you can use Copilot or your approved tool to build maybe agents first to test it out and then get it approved by IT to then start using it across the board for CV screening. So I think it's great to, stick to the tool that's been approved inside your organization and then get IT's feedback, then start using it and showing them, hey, is this all right? This is an agent I've built. Any problems here? This is the X amount of hours it would save me, and then go from there. So we've had, I've had conversations with clients where they have Copilot as their chosen tool, and they have the flexibility there to create agents for their work and then get the stamp of approval from IT. So they've created agents for emails, for example, for meeting summaries, for HR tasks, got the approval from IT saying, hey, it's all good, all safe, and then start using it as well. So that's also a very good point by Louise. But yeah, within the confinements, and then also you can also turn off settings such as training AI on what you're uploading. That's also an option.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really important stuff. So we'll quickly kind of show you the results for all of this different work. And again, everyone's week's going to look different whether you're in HR or compliance, but this should give a typical idea about what you can really save. So you can see kind of per week, you might be saving a couple of hours here and there across all of these, but then that total weekly saving for all of these tasks adding up is 20 hours. And to be honest, I reckon it's probably more than that. So I think kind of as a team here at 5 Mins, especially when you've got a task-based role, like marketing, where you spend most of your week on tasks, is we're easily 2 to 3 times more efficient than we would have been kind of going back even kind of 4 to 6 months ago. So I'd recommend getting involved with this straight away and learning how to break free from that time loop, just as Phil does in Groundhog Day.
And then next up, that's 5 minutes. So in terms of like how we can help you escape the loop with training, with development, with compliance, is how we've structured and built the platform. So first of all, bite-sized TikTok-style learning. So 5 minutes that your learners can actually make time for. Think about your people, how busy they are. If you can opt for a 25-minute ROSPA accredited fire safety course versus an hour-long one, you're giving that time back to your people, right? Same with leadership development, same with AI training. Second is, of course, our completion rates. It naturally follows. So we've got a mobile platform, it meets them where they are, and then a shorter micro-learning approach, which leads to higher completion, which is great for compliance, great for training. And then, of course, our depth of library as well. So, content is your oyster on 5 minutes. So we've got about 20,000 lessons. This is sourced from experts. So TEDx, for example, MTV presenters teaching you how to communicate, London Business School teaching you negotiation. You've got that rich library to tap into, so you don't need to make anything from scratch. You've got experts taking care of your people and developing them on the platform in 5 minutes or less. And then again, from your self-interested approach, zero admin. So of course it should be faster and fun and easier and automated for your people, but then also on your side as well. The dashboards are simplified, reports are easy to find, and you can develop workflows and automations to make sure that right people are hit with the right training as well. So again, saving you time on admin, so you're not stuck in reports or stuck in seeing things that you don't want to see, and then your people as well. So what I will do very quickly is, again, the competition is up. So if you are one of the first 10 people to make a LinkedIn post and tag 5 minutes AI, maybe just share what you learned today, your favorite part, then we will be able to send you a £20 Amazon voucher gift. So also, the next webinar is me and my co-host Lau going through the Jurassic Park problem. So when AI goes wrong and what you should do, how you should learn about it, and how you should approach it. So Louise's question around, privacy, that is one thing that we're going to cover there, and then also explore in detail. So do join there on the next one. And lastly, while we wait for questions to be dropped into the chat bot, I can give you a quick tour of the 5 minutes platform. So James, you're going to have to help me out. How do I share screen?
So you're looking bottom right, and there's just a small share screen there. I can stop sharing for a second, and then you should be able to do it.
Perfect. So do drop your questions in the chat bot, and I will share screen in the meantime to go through 5 minutes AI. So yeah, this is how it looks. So let's talk through the employee side. I've logged in straight away on my dashboard. I know exactly what I need to complete and when it's due. So this will then give me Slack reminders, Teams reminders, email reminders, mobile reminders, let me know, hey, I have to complete all these courses. So it's great for compliance. You don't need to do the chasing. You sit back, relax. They'll be chased and nudged by us, and we'll be the bad guys for you. And again, it's micro lessons that are still accredited. So fire safety, 25 minutes. The courses, the lessons are broken down into little chunks that they can complete on their phones. There's quizzes, assessments, certificates at the end, which we can launch. So that's on the compliance side. And then the bigger side of our platform is the skills matrices. So each individual can have a skills matrix that we can develop for them with the hard and soft skills they need to learn in their role. And then we can tailor recommendations based on that. So James, part of the commercial team, he needs to learn sales strategy, negotiation, soft skills like communication, stakeholder management. The platform ranks his performance over time and then feeds him every assessment, every quiz, every lesson, every course based on what he needs to learn. So it's more self-led, it's more power to your people, and then over time you can actually score them against their competencies as well. So this is a great way to think about development inside your organization, what gaps are there, and then 5 minutes will automatically fill it. So 2 ways to learn on the platform: top-down, programmatic, this is the assignments, leadership, AI training, compliance, you need to complete it by this date. Second up is self-led approach to learning, where people inside your org get an algorithm of curated lessons from our expert library, and also anything you upload in like this. So my first lesson is on motivation from Daniel Pink. My next lesson from TED Talks. But this is, again, more power to your people to learn in their own time and give them access to experts. So we've got bite-sized books, podcasts, videos, and then I've got all these skill pathways. It's all gamified. I can earn badges in communication, which I'm on level 5, on recruitment, retention, people management. It's a great way for your people to learn. And then also, it's gamified, so leaderboards in place. Managers can also see within their team. So I can see Paolo, Lorenzo, and Miguel all need a nudge. I can see that, let's say I have a one-to-one with Paolo and he needs work on his teamwork. I can go ahead and assign him courses and learning based on that. And then best of all, you're not limited by our 20,000 micro lesson library. Although that's a very high limit, you can go ahead and transform and add any of your own training. So this can be great for onboarding, maybe product training, or anything about your company, or use our AI transformer to turn any of your maybe kind of boring formats, so maybe PowerPoint decks, policies into bite-sized lessons, which can be either flashcards or video lessons as well. So, if you are interested in a faster compliance solution, a faster learning solution, then do get in touch and we'd be happy to give you access. So yeah, that's 5 minutes in a nutshell, and that's how we can help. Back to you, James.
Yeah, great. Thanks,
Oh,
Elim.
Jamie's just dropped such a wonderful message. So Jamie is actually one of our customers. I can fully vouch for not only the time saved since switching to 5 minutes, but the engagement and positive feedback from the business. Jamie, that's so sweet. And thank you again for working with us and bringing the platform live for your organization. So Jamie works for a very large law firm across Newcastle. And it's been such a pleasure working with him and also helping out the business as well. So shout out to you, Jamie, as well.
Great. So feel free to put some questions in the chat now as we wrap up. But Elim, I'll ask you a kind of question first. So if for anyone that's starting off with AI, where they're kind of looking at maybe some things with Claude and developing like dashboards, and it might seem like a bit kind of like intimidating, where would you recommend that they get started?
Yeah, I think in terms of getting started is getting stuck in, right? So making that Claude account and starting with, instead of Googling things that you might do, perhaps, open up Claude, open up your tool of choice and ask the tool and develop a habit of actually going to AI first rather than going to Google. So maybe when you're getting started, that will help you master it, help you understand, what it's good at, and how it can help you day to day. I know sometimes the hardest bit is actually getting used to a tool. Sometimes, if I type in a prompt and it's not great and the answer isn't great, it's easy to give up there and not try and go back to Google, for example. So I would recommend starting there, starting small, and then carrying on and mastering basically one tool and then branching out to the others.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really, really good advice. And for people that are maybe have companies that are a little bit reluctant to adopting AI, especially when they have kind of sensitive information, they might be reluctant to say give it to an HR compliance team where that information is especially sensitive. How would you recommend that they kind of get started with using that in terms of convincing the company to use AI?
Yeah, that's totally valid. So we actually, yesterday, James, we ran a webinar on how to build a business case for AI for organizations and leadership who are kind of skeptical, right? And one of the things came up there is talk their language. So first of all, if you are pitching to a CFO for budget to use this tool, talk their language of, hey, this is X amount of hours I can save. Think about the rest of the company. If I'm saving 10 hours a week with a £20 subscription, think about the rest of the business and how much money it can bring, how much time it can bring. If you're talking to InfoSec, for example, you can pitch it as, hey, actually, the shadow IT problem. People are already using AI in a non-controlled environment if you are not giving them access to a company-approved tool. So they'll probably be using it on their phones, on their tablets. You have no visibility there. So bringing it in-house with an approved tool is way better than giving people free reign and secretly in hidden environments using it. So it's not about, hey, which AI tool? AI tools are already there inside the organization. It's about having more control and more safety around using it by giving approval for tools as well. So whoever you're making the business case to, the CIO, for example, the CFO, talk their language to try get this implementation in place, because the people using AI right now are the people and the organizations that are doing well, as opposed to those who are stagnant at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. I think this kind of shadow IT risk is very real. So I know several people that work for major financial services institutions within government, where there's a reluctance to use AI and kind of allow those tools to come in. And for people, they need to be able to compete, both kind of within their role or with other competitors. So they're investing in kind of £20 up to £200 subscriptions for AI out of their own back pocket, just because it gives them that huge edge with work. But it's not a safe way to share information. It's not good for the company. There's huge risks involved with it. So I would say that would be one of the first things you could do when trying to convince your teams to adopt AI. It would be a great place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. James, any other questions? Any other questions we can answer for the attendees today? Please do drop them in the chat bot or the FAQs, or the queues.
No, I think we're all good.
Fab. So I hope this has been a very useful session. I look forward to logging into LinkedIn and seeing who the first 10 people are to win those £20 Amazon vouchers. And yeah, we will send out a recording and also keep a lookout for more of our practical webinars in the future. Anything else to add there, James?
Yeah, I think just on the side here, feel free to sign up for our next webinar. So as Ilan mentioned, our colleague Dalal will be doing that one. He's far more qualified when it comes to HR and his experience there, as he's been working in the industry for a lot longer than me. And we'll be taking that session with Ilan. So that's really good at kind of finding ways where AI can go wrong and how you can lock that down as a company and not make common mistakes right from the start, especially if you're first getting to grips with AI. So would highly recommend signing up for that session.
Absolutely. And if you're looking for AI training across the board for your people, compliance training, then yeah, do get in touch with 5 Minutes AI. So that's it from us, guys. We'll give you, the 5 minutes back to very on brand for us. But yeah, take care. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.